Again, ladies and gentlemen, seriously, you freak out on the test, but you know why? Because you're not paying attention at the times you need to really understand what's going on, okay? Again, you're going to read it and listen here on this side, from the right-hand side, the modern, okay? But keep your ears and eyes open. Do follow along with your eyes in the book. You'll pick up a lot more. Similes, metaphors, and the big one that a lot of people still aren't getting is those allusions. Those references to names like proper names of characters from mythology that you may not be totally familiar with, okay? Romeo, your line, action.
He makes fun of wounds he's never experienced. But hush, what's the light cracking through the window? It's as if Juliet is the sun shining from the east.
Now, John.
You gotta be more. You gotta be romantic.
You are in love.
I dressed up for you, man. This was all for you.
You, yes.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah,
I'll be on.
We need a spotlight.
What are you laughing?
I got this on camera.
Huh? You're digging Juliet? Oh my. The reverse spotlight here. Get the mood. Now, John, you are just, you had to jump over this wall because there was no way you could go home tonight without getting one more shot to talk to her, one more chance to look at her, and you've jumped over the wall in the right place at the right time, and look, she just comes out onto the balcony at that moment. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
You are just like, oh my God, look at that babe, you know? Say it like you mean it. All right, guys, give me your full attention and moral support. Get the karma going, okay? Action.
He makes fun of wounds he's never experienced. But hush, what's the light cracking through the window? It's as if Juliet is the sun shining from the east. Arise, radiant sun, and overshadow the jealous moon. She's sick and pale with grief because of you. Her chaste servant are so much more beautiful. Don't serve her, since she's envies you. Her virgin's garments are washed out in green, and only court jesters wear them. Shed them, it's the lady's island.
Your balcony's creaking there, you all right?
I hope. This will be the fourth one. I'm not kidding. This will be the fourth chair.
It's the lady I love. If only she knew that I loved her. She speaks, but I can't hear her. What of it? Her eyes speak to me, and I will answer them. I'm too presumptuous. It's not me she's talking to.
Now, guys, here are some of the best pickup lines in history. Pay attention.
Two of heaven's most dazzling stars have begged her eyes to shine in their orbits while they go off on some business. And what if her eyes really were there and stars shone in her face? The brightness on her cheeks would outshine those stars like daylight outshines the lamp. Her eyes would glow so brightly in the sky that birds would sing, thinking it was daybreak. Look at how she leans her face on her hand. How I wish I could be a glove on her hand so that I could touch her cheek.
Ay me.
She speaks, oh, speak again, bright angel. Standing above me, you glorify this night like an angel from heaven that visits a marveling human. He staggers and gazes up with awestruck eyes at this angel who mounts a lingering cloud and sails through the depths of the heaven.
Oh, Romeo, Romeo, why must you be Romeo? Deny your father and refuse your name, or swear to be my love, and I will no longer be a Capulet.
Shall I listen to more, or should I speak now?
It's only your name that is my enemy. You would still be yourself if you were not a Montague. What is a Montague? It's not a hand, a foot, an arm, or a face, or any other part of a person. Oh, change your name. What's in a name? What if we call a rose we're renamed? It would still smell just as sweet. So if Romeo weren't called Romeo, he would still retain his precious perfection. He possesses it regardless of his name. Romeo, get rid of your name, which isn't part of you, and in exchange take all of me.
Now, this is where
All.
he speaks directly to her, and she finally realizes somebody has been listening to her. Now, imagine this. You're at your locker talking to your best friend, pouring your heart out, telling your best friend how much you're in love with this person. And all of a sudden you look up, and there he or she is standing and has just heard this whole thing. How would you feel? Awkward! Yes. It would be very embarrassing and a little bit awkward. That's how she reacts. Okay? So watch what she says. It indicates how, people who were in love, and liked each other, and crushing on each other, still played some of these games with each other 400 years ago. Hard to get stuff.
I'll take you at your word. Just call me love, and I'll be reborn. From now on, I'm no longer Romeo.
Who's there, concealed in the dark and eavesdropping on my secret thoughts?
I don't know how to tell you who I am. My name, dear saint, is repulsive to me because it's your enemy. If I had written it, I would tear it up.
My ears have not taken in 100 words from your mouth, but I recognize your voice. Aren't you Romeo and a Montague?
I'm neither, lovely lady, if either displeases you.
Tell me, how did you get here and why? The orchard walls are so high and hard to climb. And because of who you are, this place could be fatal to you if any of my relatives find you here.
I flew over these walls with love's light wings. Barriers of stone can't hold back love, and love takes risks to accomplish what it can. Therefore, your relatives can't hinder me.
If they see you, they'll kill you.
Now here comes a romantic line from Romeo. Think about what this means.
Oh, your eyes are more dangerous than 20 of their swords.
Pause. Try that again.
Oh, your eyes are more dangerous than 20 of them their swords.
Ladies, if a guy said that to you, what does that mean?
I got purty eyes.
Yeah. Your eyes are pretty. Yeah. Basically, she's saying, oh, there's more danger in your eyes because she casts like this spell on his power with those beautiful eyes, So that's a good one. Try that next time you're trying to ask somebody out. Okay, Gary? Let us know how that goes. Let us know how that goes. And most of you girls will probably be creeped out, right? Okay. All right.
Only look upon me favorably, and I am immune to their hostility.
What did you just read? I got it. I would not want them to see you here for anything in the world.
The night's veil hides me from their sight, and if you will only love me, let them find me here. I'd rather have my life ended by the hatred than postpone death and live without you.
Who showed you how to find me?
Love did, which first inspired me to seek you. He offered me advice and offered him my vision. I'm not a navigator, but even if you were as far away as vast shore of the most remote sea, I would venture out to search for a treasure like you.
You know that the night obscures my face, otherwise a girlish blush would tint my cheeks because of what you overheard me say tonight. I'd like to observe the proper formalities and gladly deny what I said. But farewell, etiquette. Do you love me? I know you'll answer yes, and I'll take your word for it. Yet if you swear, you might prove untrue. Then say the god Jupiter laughs at lovers' false oaths. O gentle Romeo, if you love me, profess it faithfully. Or if you think I'll give in too easily, I'll frown and be stubborn, and I'll reject you so you'll keep pursuing me. Otherwise, I wouldn't do that for the world. To tell you the truth, dear Montague, I am too affectionate, and therefore you might think I'm not serious. But believe me, sir, I'll prove more faithful than those who play hard to get. I'll admit that I should have been more aloof, but without my being aware of it, you overheard my true feelings. So forgive me, and don't misinterpret this surrender as a frivolous love that dark night has brought to light.
Lady, I vow by the blessed moon up there, whose light tips the leaves on top of the fruit tree's sliver.
Oh dear, don't swear by the moon, not by the erratic moon that changes as she makes her monthly rounds, in case your love turns out to be just as changeable.
What should I swear by?
Don't swear at all. If you must swear, swear by your gracious self, which is the God I worship. Then I'll believe you.
If my beloved dear sweetheart.
Well, don't swear. Although I rejoice you, I take no joy in these vows tonight. It's too rash, too ill-advised, too sudden, too much like lightning, which ends before you can say, I've gotten light. Sweetheart, good night, what?
It's gotten, you said I've gotten light.
I'm sorry. Sweetheart, good night. By the time we next meet, this bud-like beginning of love may have blossomed into a beautiful flower, ripened by the summer air. Good night, good night. May such sweet rest and sleep come to your heart as lies within mine.
Oh, will you leave me so unsatisfied?
What satisfaction can you have tonight?
Your vow of true love exchanged for mine.
I gave you mine before you asked for it, and yet I wish I have it to give away again.
You'd like to take it back? Why, my love?
Only to be free with it and give it to you again. But I'm wishing that for what I already have. My gifts are as boundless as the sea. My love is just as deep. The more I give you, the more I have. Both are infinite. I hear a noise, dear love. Goodbye.
I'm going to pause you here a second. Now, remember back to the movie version on Monday? What are some of the differences in the action, the physical movement in the scene?
He jumped in a tree.
Yeah, when she leaves here, that's when he jumps in the tree and he swings around like a monkey. What else was going on as far as physical action as they spoke these lines that have already been read?
They were making out terribly.
Yeah. Again, and not that I'm suggesting you guys give us, that would be a very awkward makeout scene. That would be more than awkward, that'd be inappropriate, but, for all of us. But, yeah, and
It's
again,
just
remember,
acting.
each director has kind of a different staging of it. Now, we didn't get that far in the Leonardo DiCaprio one.
No.
No. That's even more strange. They fall into the pool. We may get to that next week. He goes to her balcony, or, back bedroom, and there's a pool in the backyard. And so at one point, they are startled by a guard, and they fall into the pool, so they're kind of like hiding around, like there's a fountain and stuff like that, so nobody sees them. Are you having a seizure?
Oh, no.
That's just Velcro, it's okay. Here, we'll loosen you up a little. It's hard to put all your emotion into it when you're being squeezed to death. Romeo likes the bigger girls. All right.
That may have caused me some emotional distress.
All right, so the nurse calls, Juliet.
Just a minute, good nurse. Sweet Montague, be true. Wait a little. I'll be back. I'm not leaving.
Oh,
Okay,
blessed,
pretend she got down from the chair. We'll come back.
No, don't.
We don't want you
don't,
to make
don't.
don't stress yourself.
oh, blessed, blessed night, because it's the night I'm afraid that this is all a dream. It's too full of sweet fantasies as to be real.
She's back.
3 more words, dear Romeo, and then good night for real. If your romantic intentions are honorable and your propose is to get married, purpose. Send me a message by tomorrow, by someone I'll arrange to meet you, telling me where and when you'll perform the ceremony. And then I'll lay my whole life at your feet and follow you as my lord throughout the world.
Madam.
I'll be there in just a second, but if you're not being sincere, I beg you.
Madam.
I'm coming right now. Don't stop courting me and leave me alone to grieve. Tomorrow I'll send my messenger.
Upon my soul,
1,000 times good night.
I'm 1,000 times worse off without your light. Lovers run to each other the way schoolboys run from their books, but lovers say goodbye slowly and reluctantly, like schoolboys heading to class.
No, she's back.
Psst, Romeo. Psst. Oh, if I only had a voice like a falconer to lure this noble hawk back again. Controlled by a strict father, I am forced to speak low and quietly. If I weren't, I'd pierce the cave where the nymph Echo lives with my calls for Romeo. She'd grow hoarse calling out the echoes of my cries.
It's my soul who's calling out my name. How silvery, sweet lover's voices sound in the night. It's like the softest music to listening ears.
Romeo,
My dear,
what time should I send my messenger to you tomorrow?
by 9 o'clock.
I won't fail to do it. It feels like 20 years until then. I forgot why I called you back.
I'll stand here until you remember.
I'll forget just to have you keep standing there, remembering only how I love your company.
And I'll keep waiting so that you keep forgetting, and I'll forget I have any other home but this one.
It's almost morning. I would like you to go, but no further than a spoiled girl's bird. So she lets it hop a little away from her hand, like a poor prisoner in his twisted chains. Then she pulls it back again with a silk thread, for she's so lovingly possessive and jealous of its freedom.
I wish I were your bird.
Sweet, so do I. But I'd kill you by cherishing you that much. Good night, good night. Parting is so sweetly sad that I could go on saying good night until the morning.
Oh, wait a minute. That's an extremely famous line. We need to go have you read that again from the left-hand side, the way Shakespeare wrote it. How many of you have heard this line? Think about it.
the last line?
Yeah, the last two there.
Sweet, so would I. Yet I shall kill thee with much cherishing. Good night, good night. Parting is such sweet sorrow that I shall say good night till it be morrow.
Have you heard that line before? Juliet looks a little arthritic there. And Romeo's closing lines, he speaks aloud to himself.
May sleep visit your eyes and peace live in your breast. If only I would sleep in peace to rest in such sweet places. I'll go to my father's confessor's chamber to beg for his help and tell him about my good fortune.
And who's the father confessor? The priest, okay? Because in Catholic tradition, you confess your sins to
Much
a
better.
priest you call father. All right, let's give him a round.